Saturday, June 23, 2012. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is my 1991 Volkswagen Vanagon. Still trying to get it running. The new engine is fully installed. I think I'm dealing with a fuel supply issue right now. I'm going to be checking out the fuel pump today. Basically, I have to crawl under the van, and I'm going to pull off a couple of hoses and just do a little testing. So you have to give me a moment to get set up for that. Okay, so here I am underneath the van. Sorry for getting up really close here with the camera, but there's not much choice I have. This is the hose coming off the fuel tank. Now, this is the hose I disconnected back in the fall for draining the tank. And there's 5 gallons of fresh gas in there right now. Here is the fuel pump, right in line with that. And here's the hose going from the fuel pump to the fuel filter. And here's the hose coming off the filter. So basically I'm going to be pulling off a couple of hoses here. First, I suppose between the I guess actually right after the fuel filter here. And I'm going to hook up a, I'll show you here, I've got a another length of rubber hose and a glass jar for catching gasoline. So I'm going to hook that up, see if it's pumping through, and if it seems to be pumping through okay, then it suggests to me that the problem is a blockage maybe in this line right here. If it's not pumping through, then I disconnect going into the fuel filter. And if it's pumping fine out of the pump but not going through the filter, well, I've diagnosed a bad filter. And if it doesn't seem to be going through the pump, then the last thing I do is I pull this hose off the gas tank here, and I see if fuel is even getting to the pump, which is, I suppose it's possible I have a problem with that. Maybe there's just not enough gas in the tank quite yet. So give me a moment and I will test these things. Okay, I have that hose hooked up to the outlet of the fuel filter now, so you can see I have the jar here, and what I also have is an assistant in the driver's seat. In this case it's Mrs. Mercedes Diesel Guy, and I'm going to have her cycle the key for me, because that'll activate the fuel pump at least for a second, and we'll see if it's pumping anything out. So okay, so key in the ignition and turn it to just before it tries to start. What's that? No clutch interlock in the van, and it should be out of gear. Just before it starts. Yeah. Off. Okay, well as you saw, I didn't really get anything out of the jar, but I had my hand on the fuel pump here, and not only could I hear it, I could actually feel it spinning, and it, I know it's not scientific, but sure sounded and felt healthy. So next thing to do is to pull the hose off the fuel filter inlet and see if I can get anything coming out of there. So you got to give me a couple minutes to get that set up. Okay, now I have the fuel filter disconnected and a line bridged here off the fuel pump outlet. So whenever you're ready in there, cycle the key again. And again. Okay, off. Well, that didn't seem to make much of any difference at all. So it suggests to me that the either the pump is bad or it's still just not getting fuel. So okay, I've got nothing coming out. So now I'm going to see if I'm even getting anything to the fuel pump here. So I'm going to shut the camera off again, pull this line off, and see if I've got gas coming out of the tank here. Okay, so I pulled the hose off the gas tank here, and nothing is coming out, which suggests to me that the there's probably just not enough gas in it yet. Okay, I didn't actually show it, but I pulled the fuel hose here off the gas tank, looked through it, it was perfectly clear, there's no blockage in this hose, and then I noticed there was still nothing coming out of the gas tank, so I kind of stuck a screwdriver in there to see if I was hitting a blockage. I wasn't, but I also wasn't hitting gasoline, so this really suggests to me that there's just not enough fuel in there to reach this level to get to the fuel pump. I think actually everything is okay here, so I'm going to go down to the gas station, get a few more gallons, and see if maybe that'll get the van started.